I thought this was America, people. I thought this was the land of freedom. Then can you tell me why I can't do what the hell I want on my own damn land? I don't know if I should blame Trump, Obama, or Leslie Knope, but I'm pissed off. Okay, maybe I won't get into politics in today's video, but what I will get into is how to do whatever the hell you want legally on your own damn land by getting a special use permit or variance. What if you own a really nice piece of land, or you're thinking about buying a really nice piece of land, but the use you had in mind for it just isn't allowed for one reason or another? For instance, let's say that you wanted to build a glamp site, build a tent, a cabin, a yurt, a dome, and rent it out to others. Or maybe you just wanted to farm on your land or something along those lines and it's not allowed. Well, don't give up on what you're trying to do. You might be able to use a special use permit or a variance to get what you want to do allowed. And I'm going to dive into that in today's video. Okay, a use permit goes by a couple different names. Sometimes you might see it said as a special use permit, and other times a conditional use permit. They all do the same thing. And what that is it allows you to use the current piece of land in a way that it currently isn't allowed under specific rules that you have to follow. So if you own a piece of land, or you're thinking about buying a piece of land and you want to set something up like a campground or a glamping site, but that's technically not currently allowed, well then a special use permit is the way that you need to go, and that is something that you want to get your hands on big time. These permits come with really strict parameters, which honestly makes a ton of sense because they're allowing you and only you to do something that technically isn't allowed. So they want to set up a strict amount of parameters to make sure that you just don't go absolutely crazy. It's almost like they're making a new set of rules or like a new law that only the person who has this permit has to follow. So they have to think about it in the same way that they think about setting up a regular law, like all of the little edge cases and those types of things. Another thing to keep in mind with use permits is that sometimes they're able to be grandfathered in. And what that means is if you owned a piece of land prior to a zoning change or a rule change and you were allowed to do what you did before, you could apply for a special use permit to not have to follow the new rules and laws that are set up, and you can continue to do your thing. So let's say that you own a piece of commercial land and you've set it up as a business, you've built, maybe a strip mall or something along those lines, and everything is going great. Then all of a sudden, things change, the town changes, whatever, and now that area is being changed to a residential area, and now you're only allowed to build homes or condos or something along those lines. Well, you're kind of screwed because you already have what you built and what is going on there. That is what I'm talking about. You may be able to use a special use permit to grandfather you in, to allow you to continue using the land in the manner that you were before the rule change, because you were there, you were already set up. Now, this isn't a given. You're still going to need to apply for the special use permit, but this is definitely something to keep in mind. Now let's get back into those set parameters, because in that instance, they may allow you to continue to run your business, but they might set up new rules that you have to follow to make sure that you're not being a nuisance to the new residential people that are there. So they may say that your business has to be opened or closed at a certain amount of time. They may say that you're only allowed to serve X amount of customers at a time. They may limit the amount of parking spaces that you're allowed to use, that type of stuff. And honestly, I know that that sounds annoying, but hey, they're allowing you to skirt past the rules and the laws legally. So you kind of really have to play ball. You don't have a choice. Now, I talk a lot about buying land, so I want to talk to those people real quick with these special use permits and being grandfathered in. They do not pass to the next person who purchases that land. So let's say that I have a piece of land, I have a special use permit to allow me to do something that isn't allowed. I can do that all day long. But the second that I go to sell that piece of land to the next person, that special use permit doesn't just automatically go forward. That permit isn't with the land, so to speak, it's with the person that they did the deal with, kind of, if that makes sense, you know what I mean? So that doesn't mean that I can just sell the land and sell my special use permit and the next person can just walk in and keep going. That next buyer would have to go through all of the things all over again to get their own special use permit. And it's not really guaranteed that they're going to be able to get it. So if you're buying land and you see any funkiness going on there with the use permit or something along those lines, I'm not telling you not to buy that piece of land, but just think about it a bit. Do some more research. Now I have to talk variances, even though I believe that they are much more difficult to get and acquire. A variance allows the property owner to use the piece of land or to build some structures that are exactly contrary to the current zoning. These are much less likely to be given out. People really aren't fond of these. In some areas, you have to go all the way up to the state level, even though that this is normally like a local government type of thing. But let's dig into that a little bit more. A variance is usually only given out if the person applying for it can show that it's like almost impossible for them to follow the current rules, or that it would give them such a hardship. It's almost like saying, hey guys, I know this is the rules, this is what everyone has to do, but I literally can't, or it would cost me millions just to follow this one little rule. So work with me here. Again, most governments don't want to work with you in that manner. For example, let's say that you have a piece of land and you're trying to build on it, but there's steep slopes and rocks all over the place. So you only have a small portion that is actually suitable for a home. On top of that, the setbacks required by zoning regulations kind of impede onto that buildable portion so far that only a small shed could fit. Well, then the owner might be able to get a variance to build within the setback area. So again, that's like not allowed, but because I have this variance, I'm able to actually do something that actually isn't allowed because it's just too difficult. Like, let's be honest, there's nowhere for me to build here. There's nothing for me to do. Either that piece of land is going to be unusable, or they're going to allow me and give me a variance. Now, before you can get a variance, a special use permit, or any of these type of things, you're probably going to have to go before the board of your city or something along those lines. And one thing I want you to keep in mind is it would be so much easier for you if you were to get the assistance, support, or help of your neighbors. Now, in some places, getting the support of your neighbors is a requirement. In some places, it's not at all. But I still would recommend you to get the support of your neighbors, or at least keep them abreast with what's going on, because that can really help avoid conflicts later on. I talk about that often. Your neighbors can really make or break you, especially in rural areas where you don't have a lot of neighbors. It's not like there's a cul-de-sac. Where I own land, I only have 2 neighbors within maybe like a 3-4 mile radius. So what I want you to do is call, text, meet in person, do whatever you have to do to get your neighbor's ear and let them know what you're trying to do. But the key here, the pro tip here, is while you're explaining what you want to do, I want you to think about how they could negatively take it and just kind of get ahead of that. So straight from the jump, you want to let them know how what you're doing just won't be an annoyance to them. It won't hinder their way of living or anything like that. So let's say that you want to set up a lemonade stand or maybe sell firewood. Well, they're probably thinking, okay, there's going to be a lot more traffic in the area. There's going to be a lot more people stopping in the street to go buy from you. Maybe there may be more noise or something along those lines. Well, when you're talking to them about setting up your stand, tell them your idea. But also just out of nowhere, let them know, yeah, but on top of that, I kind of think that my lawn or my driveway where the people are going to be, it's so far away from you. So I don't think it's going to be too noisy or too annoying or anything like that. Also, maybe tell them if it ever does get annoying that they can give you a ring or give you a call. So that way they know you guys are on the same page from the start. Now, if you can do this, you're going to be golden. And what I want you to do is try to get them to give you a written statement saying that, yeah, we know what Jim's up to and we support him and we love what he's doing and we have no problems with it. If your neighbors really love you and you've been buttering up to them how I would like you to be, you could even ask them to go speak in front of the board or speak to the local government on your behalf to say, hey, we heard that Jim's doing some weird thing and just want to let you guys know we all are about it. We love it. We have no problems with it. That would help you out so much more than you would think. Now, this all is a lot of information, and no one said this stuff was easy. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it, and I guess I wouldn't be here on YouTube ranting about how to do it, but I truly am here to help. What I want you to do is take this and use it as a starting point to go do more research on use permits and variances. They can help you out a lot, and I promise you no one at your local government is going to suggest that you go through with one of these processes. You're just going to be giving them extra work. If you want an easy way to keep doing research, check out one of the 2 videos on the screen right now. Good luck to you in your project. Be sure to let me know in the comments what you guys are up to, what you guys are building, and what you want to see more of. Peace.